present this year's award, it's my honor to introduce Mr. William Cole, a member of the Loyola class of 1990. William H. Cole is the president and CEO of the Baltimore Development Corporation, which serves as the economic development agency for Baltimore City. It's responsible for growing the city by retaining and attracting businesses, expanding job opportunities for city residents, and increasing investment in city neighborhoods. Prior to his appointment to BDC, Cole was the Associate Vice President of Institutional Advancement at the University of Baltimore for more than a decade, and was twice elected to the Baltimore City Council. His public service also includes a term as a member of the Maryland House of Delegates and nearly 7 years as Special Assistant to Congressman Elijah Cummings. Bill is active on more than a dozen civic and nonprofit boards, including chair of the Baltimore Hotel Corporation and member of the boards of the Downtown Partnership of Baltimore, Visit Baltimore, and the Waterfront Partnership of Baltimore. He earned a BA in Government and Politics from the University of Maryland, College Park, and an MA in Legal and Ethical Studies from the University of Baltimore. A native Marylander, Cole has lived in downtown Baltimore for nearly 30 years. He and his wife, Michelle, are the proud parents of 3 Baltimore City public school students, and one of whom is now attending the University of Maryland, College Park. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Bill Cole.
To be here today, and I need to start by doing something Dan himself would do. First, congratulations to varsity soccer for doing the right thing earlier this week. And to my classmates from the class of 1990, thank you for the privilege and honor of speaking on your behalf today. But our 30-year reunion is coming up very soon. This building needs air conditioning badly, so you might want to keep that in mind. Hey, Mrs. McNeal and Kathleen, thank you for continuing to allow us to celebrate and share the remarkable man that we knew as Dan, or Dan McNeal. Now, thanks to the internet, I had the ability to go back and watch almost every prior speech delivered by the members of my class. It wasn't that I was hoping that they set a low bar, although I think that might have been part of it. I really wanted to make certain that I wasn't missing anything, and I was completely blown away by the remarkable stories and passion with which they described Dan. Each year, one of my classmates has spoken eloquently about what he meant to our class and to our school. It's an incredible tradition, and one that Dan himself would undoubtedly be very proud of. I've given hundreds of speeches in front of small and large audiences over the years. I've written hundreds others for local, state, and federal level government officials. I am rarely nervous, nor do I have a hard time coming up with the right words to meet my audience. And I will freely admit that I struggled today. Not because it was hard or that I didn't know what to say, but because I have an incredible fear that I won't do proper justice to the man we continue to celebrate and remember so fondly. Dan McNeal was our class president, our student body president, our friend, and our constant advocate and supporter. He was so many things, but I can tell you a few things with absolute certainty. Dan cared very deeply about this school, about its students, and about its reputation. Perhaps the only thing he cared for more was his family, his mother, his father, and his sister. He was the heart of our class, and he was the champion at Loyola Lakefield for his 6 years here. Dan was my very first friend at Loyola. I suspect you'll hear that from many of my classmates who started in 7th grade. And we're so old, they didn't even have a 6th grade program then. But I enrolled at Lakefield mere days before school started, and I quite literally knew no one, not a single person in the entire school. I was coming from several counties away and walked into Sheridan Hall scared to death. I remember very little from those first days, but I remember that Dan McNeal was the first person to accept this kid from far away. his unassuming, "Hi, I'm Dan," was all he ever needed as an introduction. While we each found our own passion as we entered high school, Dan remained a supporter of everything I did, whether it was in athletics or the retreat program. He was a supporter of everything we all did. He was at all the sporting events, at the academic competitions, at the debates, at the blood drives, and at the school plays. As I was flipping through our yearbook, I found a few things that stood out, and it proved my previous point. Dan really was everywhere. But I found one section that captured him to a T. It read, quote, "If there's been one extraordinary change on Loyola's campus over the course of the past year, it has been the incredible resurgence of school spirit. This was due in no small part to the work of a small but devoted group of students and faculty." Well, I was a part of that small group, as was the class hype machine Mark Dixon. It really was all about Dan. He picked who he wanted, and you couldn't say no. He wanted it from school, and you had two options: yes or absolutely yes. Mark, you probably owe your media career to Dan, because he was the one who thrust that microphone in your face at that first pep rally. The irony of that section in the yearbook was that Dan wasn't me, but the reality was it was his idea. He wanted to promote what we, his classmates, were doing. He wanted to celebrate us, and he wanted to celebrate with us. It should be no surprise to anyone that the very next section of our yearbook was simply titled "The Year of McNealism." It provided a list, hardly extensive, of all the efforts Dan made on behalf of the school. The final note in the yearbook was perhaps the most understated comment throughout. Quote, "Dan fulfilled his promise that not only would Loyola become a stronger community, but that all of Baltimore would feel its presence." What you'll find when talking to my classmates is that Dan really did care about each and every student, even those he didn't know well. As several of my prior classmates have said, we grew closer as a class because of Dan McNeal. And we drew even closer after his grossly premature passing in 2001. Our class had nationally ranked athletes and teams and gifted students who have gone on to do amazing things in science, law, finance, government, and technology. And Dan McNeal was the best of us. He wasn't the valedictorian, but he was a great student. He wasn't very athletic, but he'd give it his all when he had a chance to play. He wasn't the funniest, but he knew how to tell a really good joke. He was a great debater. He was a passionate advocate. He was a genuine person. He was just the best of us. He was a leader, but he didn't have to tell you he was a leader. He was respected like one. He cared like one. He behaved like one. And as I was struggling to find a way to describe Dan and to make certain that I left you with his true essence, I happened upon a handwritten sign that read, "Leadership is not about being the best. Leadership is about making everyone else better." Dan McNeal truly was a man for others. It was how he lived, and it was how he died. And while he was here, he made all of us infinitely better. Thank you very much.